In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We are the Two Buck Sports Show, proudly presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. I am your co-host, Rusty Buckets, checking in with my guy, Drew Gann, a.k.a. Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck, what is happening on this Tuesday in the great Tippah County, Mississippi?
Back in the podcast closet. I'm just a slave to wherever Mama and the baby decide to be set up when I get home from my lunch break for the lunchtime podcast. So listen, I will happily oblige. I'm doing a podcast instead of being a father and a husband. So I will move this thing wherever I need to go to stay out of hot water.
Win, 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 as Michael Scott would say. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. We appreciate y'all being here as the Grizzlies get ready to play basketball tomorrow night. We don't necessarily have a game to talk about, but there are still trade rumors circulating with the Memphis Grizzlies, including now one, Karl Anthony Towns. Is John Morant still on the trading block? What all is going on with the Memphis Grizzlies? We'll talk about all that and more, as well as put a bow on the college football season that was. But before we get into all of that, on Tuesdays, we're two high-calorie humans, and we like to talk about the high-calorie foods that keep us going. And I've got a kind of a take for y'all, like if you don't know, now you do, in our Tasting Tuesdays.
This is the Two Buck Sports Show. It is the Tuesday edition of the show on Bluff City Media's YouTube and X pages and Rusty's Facebook page for all of his grandparents. And so I'd like to take a minute to just invite everybody to subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot, helps us get in front of more people, as well as like this stream. If you do it early and you do it often, much like voting, do it early and do it often, it helps us just boost this individual video. Subscribing helps boost the network. We want to do both, so do us a favor, do both of those as we get into our first segment, which is always tomfoolery. And if there's anything as high-calorie individuals and Southerners to our core, it's eat. And it is talk about eating, whatever you do, it's always around food. So that's how we start our Tuesday segment, our Tuesday show with our Tasting Tuesdays.
Exactly. And today is a shout-out, no free shout-out segment / like little humble brag. I have found a great way to feed a large number of people for very cheap. And that is chili, yes. But I'm talking about specifically the Walmart market side, fresh made, take home baked pizzas. You can get extra large pizzas for $8.47 to the tune of a meat lovers, a pepperoni, a cheese, take it home, bake it for 15 minutes in the oven, and you've got a lot of pizza for a little bit of money. It's what I brought down to the Gans on Sunday, and I just don't know that there's a better deal out there. Again, shout out, no free shout outs. Walmart pays Maggie and pays her bills, cuts her a check every 2 weeks. So I'm pro Walmart because of that. And now I have found the pizzas at $8.47. Dude, I'm all in on those.
I'll be honest with you. I was much more appreciative and grateful for you bringing us lunch until you told us that you spent a grand total of like $17 to feed my family of 7. So
that should make it even better. It's efficient and it's good food.
Listen, the only thing, Ripley is a small town, one of the smallest, the Mayberries. You know, there's not much here. Our Walmart is not even a super center, and that if I could change one thing, it wouldn't be a Target, it wouldn't be a Kroger, it wouldn't be like anything fancy. I don't want a Top Golf next door. Just make my Walmart a super center so I can partake in those pizzas, because there is no food at our Walmart. And just local mom and pop grocery stores, which are great and going out of style. But the Walmart pizzas, I mean, 10 out of 10. You brought those; they're a staple. Anytime Rusty brings food, buddy, he's going to Walmart and he's getting pizzas.
That's it.
And he brought them to fantasy football draft parties. He's brought them twice to my house. Couldn't thank him enough, honestly. And I guess this is. Did I talk about this in my best and beef yesterday? I don't remember what my best was. Oh, it was Braxton pulling his eyelashes out.
Yeah.
My food segment is just going to be like a little bit of gratitude. We have not cooked a meal for ourselves until last night. We had our baby girl Monday around lunchtime. We came home Wednesday around lunchtime, and from Wednesday to last night, we had cooked dinner one time because we just had everybody feeding us, bringing us food, and Rusty brought us pizza. My mom's cooked for us a couple of times. My mother-in-law came over and cooked a huge breakfast Saturday morning, just friends, local friends bringing food, dropping them off. Like, listen, it's really hard, making it really difficult, honestly, to say no to more children. The reality of it is wait till people stop bringing me food and then ask me if I want to have more kids, because I hate to bring it to my wife here and to myself, but I think the food's drying up. And so we're going to have to start cooking for ourselves. And once we start realizing those perks are gone and it's just expenses for the next 25 years for our new baby girl, then that'll probably be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I brought y'all food 3 times now, and it's like, all right, like, next time it's ramen is what y'all are getting. If there's a fourth,
you just bragged about the pizzas. You brought us 2 extra large pizzas and a medium, I think, and we didn't even make it through. We didn't even cook the medium pizza, and we didn't eat all the other 2. So I think you're okay. I think you can handle. Okay. I think you can handle it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if that sounds like Mom again, I'm going to clip this, Haley, and that sounds like a cry for another kid if I've ever heard one.
I said, wait. It's physically impossible for me to impregnate her now with doctor's orders. Okay, so by the time we can get to that point, it's gonna be safe to say that I'm done again.
The new baby smell is going to be wore off, and it's going to be all right. This is back to reality. We got
at that point, it's just diapers and another daycare, and it's like, no, pass. I'm done. Take them beans and pouch.
That's exactly right. You get what you like, and you deserve it. You deserve it. You're going to like it. Uh-huh. Well, hey, that's our tomfoolery for today. We appreciate y'all putting up with us. Go get you some Walmart pizza or make sure you love on your friends who just had a baby. It's always fun to go hold the little one. I got to hold her a little bit on Sunday and was completely content. She napped in my arms for a good while and always fun to hang out at the Gann household.
Yep.
Speaking of household, the Memphis Grizzlies house has been in disarray for the last few weeks, and we're here to talk about it. We do our Beale Street heat check 10 games at a time on purpose. But we are at the exact 50% mark of the season. 41 games in, 41 games remaining, and we feel like it's time to do a heat check on the season as a whole.
That's right. We are halfway through. We're at the if this was Talladega, we've made it 2.5 miles. And I think that's right. Isn't Talladega 5 miles? 5 miles around.
So, yeah.
Listen, different show. But we've made it halfway. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of teams out there that's just going to count, oh, well, I wish we would have won this game, or it was fun when we won this game, or, this has been a fun season. Nobody's book will be as long at the halfway point as the Memphis Grizzlies book is going to be. Like this.
That's exactly right.
The DVD of recapping the 25-26 Grizzlies is already at 4.5 hours, and we're going to have to go full-blown 8-part documentary by the time this thing is over.
I hope we get a 30 for 30 on the Ja Morant drama that we've had this year, because there's going to be plenty of it. But if you do want to watch some of the back half of the season over at Grind City Brewing, we've got 3 watch parties coming up. The first one being January 30th. I got to get the updated graphic in here. I thought this one I loaded. There was a typo here. It's the 13th, not the 31st. Zach got it reversed when he made this. But our first one is next Friday, New Orleans Pelicans. We play at New Orleans, 6:30 tip on ESPN, and we will be watching it live at Grind City Brewing. Beers on tap, food on deck. Personalities from Bluff City Media are going to be all around. I think Luke's going to try and make it in. Y'all come hang out with us next Friday, 6:30 p.m. for a Bluff City Media Memphis Grizzlies watch party. Y'all know those are always a blast, and it'll be at a great venue in downtown Memphis. But Drew, the Memphis Grizzlies, again, are at the halfway point, and we've seen some bright stars. We'll get to kind of the negative here in just a little bit with the Ja Morant. But I think if we looked at the season as a whole, what we complained about early, this offense highlights role players, has brought out some stars that are role players. I'm talking about Cam Spencer, talking about Jock Landale. And we've had a pretty good Santi Aldama season. He's still the master of inconsistency. But if you look at the season at large, I think Santi's done a pretty good job stepping up this year, playing for some of that money that he earned in the offseason. And I think he's been better, defense notwithstanding.
Yeah, so is that how you want to do this? You want to frame this as positives first, then negatives? Or
sure, we can do that.
Okay. For like the 8th season in a row, the positives that we talk about for the Memphis Grizzlies are players that we didn't even think were going to be contributors. Yeah. And that's twofold. Cam Spencer, Jock Landale, these guys have been really good, better than we thought they were going to be. The reason, the core reason as why we're talking about Cam Spencer and Jock Landale and those guys is because one of the cons is that nobody's healthy. All of our pets' heads are falling off. John's got a bad leg all the time. And Ty Jerome, we're not even sure if he's got a jersey yet. Yeah. Scottie Pippen Jr., Brandon Clark played like 7 minutes of basketball. So, that's the cons, but it leads to the pros because, and that's what we're talking about in the first segment, is like, it's Cam Spencer, man. It's Cam Spencer. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Tell me who I'm missing here. But I'm thinking Cam Spencer. Vince Williams Jr. has been really good in spurts this year.
G.G. Jackson has been incredible of late.
Yeah. Recently, you've seen a really good stuff out of G.G. Jackson staying within his game. Santi Aldama, I would put him in the pro category as well. He's really good. He's a weapon offensively. He's really good for the money that he makes. He's even at an affordable deal. Like he's not even overpaid, despite having a brand new shiny contract. And just Cam Spencer, man, he's the star for me so far this year. Everything about Cam Spencer I love, and he's been really good.
A couple things about Cam Spencer. He is currently sitting in the 94th percentile for assists. And then Sean Coleman over on X put out this little nugget here. There have been 2 players in the history of the NBA to produce 30% or more or better assist rate, 15% or lower turnover rate, 45% or better from 3, 65% or better true shooting percentage, with a minimum of 150 3-pointers attempted. Those 2 players are 2015-2016 Steph Curry and 2025-2026 Cam Spencer. I mean, anytime you can mention Cam Spencer in the conversation with one of the greatest single seasons by a shooter of all time, I think especially given that he's making $2.5 million a year for the next 4 years, that's a whale of a deal for a guy who has been on another level as a role player playing point guard when he was a shooting guard in mostly for the last year as an NBA player, but has had to step into a role that he hasn't really done and done well, all things considered.
Yeah, and Cam, I think that's fair you point that out, is the role that he's not scheduled to play, not prepared to play. He's played a lot of point guard, started at point guard. And, with guys that have not played a lot and are getting a lot of playing time, naturally you're going to see kind of an ebb and flow of peaks and valleys. And when you expect that, what you've seen from players like that, the peaks and valleys, or the valleys have not been as deep as what you would have expected. Like the Vince Williams valleys, when he's been bad, have just been deplorable. That's not been the case with Cam Spencer, but the peaks are really, really high. And he's playing point guard, which is not setting him up to be the dynamic scorer that he is. A point guard, you don't want him basically being an on-ball shooter, a ball-handling shooter. You want him coming off screens. You want him running the offense, baseline, corner threes, kickouts, a lot of that stuff. But he's the guy with the ball in his hand, and even despite that, he's been absolutely amazing. And so
he's been getting
think
double-digit assist nights on the regular, to your point.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, if there's a time where John Morant gets healthy and happy and plays, or you just get a point guard that is not Cam Spencer, I think the ceiling for Cam Spencer has not been seen.
Yeah, and again, the guy had a 12-game stretch where he was shooting 56, almost 57% from three. He has regressed to the mean, and he is still in catch and shoot, wide open, contested, corner, elbow, top of the key, roughly shooting about 40% from all of them. Like, that is a generational type run for a guy who's playing out of position and on a $2.5 million contract.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at 50, 40, 90 at the end of this season. And it's a guy that's, 6'1.5" guard that you will never see dunk a basketball. Like, it's just not the kind of guy you see that has that kind of numbers. And so,
exactly.
He has been the brightest of bright spots for me, 41 games through the season.
And just for reference, in that career year that Steph had in 2015, 2016, he was making $11.4 million. Cam is making $2.5 million.
But that was a steal too, because that must have been that contract that he signed when he had his foot injuries for the first 2 or 3 years.
That was the according to Basketball Reference, it was a 4-year extension, 44-year, $44 million contract extension. He had signed in 2012. It was a massive bargain because that was his MVP season, and it exploded after that.
Yeah, so I think the Steph Curry thing that helped Golden State out tremendously, and that's what a lot of people are kind of pointing to right now with Zach Edey, is that Steph was drafted in 08, I believe, which would have made 08, 09 his first season. And for 2.5, 3 years, he had ankle issues. And when he signed an extension, he said 4 years, $40 million, $45 million, whatever it is. He's making less than that per year. I mean, he's making more than that per year after that contract was up. So, and that allowed Clay and Draymond and Andre Iguodala and the whole shooting match to stick around for so long.
Steph Curry was in the 2009 draft class, taken 7th overall after the likes of Blake Griffin to the Clippers, Hasheem Thabeet to the Grizz, James Harden, Tyreek Evans, Ricky Rubio, and Johnny Flynn all went before Steph Curry.
Yeah, that's great.
That deserves hang on. That deserves a moment of silence.
Yeah, I mean,
especially for the critics out there that are saying that Chris Wallace would do better than ZK right now.
There's also a lot of revisionist history on that too, because the Grizzlies ain't never won nothing at that point, and all those dudes refused to work out for the Grizzlies. And so, Chris Wallace probably should have done what Danny Ainge did with what's the guy they took, Ace Bailey, just drafted him anyways and said, "You will play in Memphis or you will play in China." But he didn't do that.
Yeah. Anyway, another bright spot that we kind of skirted around somehow 8 minutes into this conversation is Cedric Coward. I know we've been talking about role players, but a guy who's come in as the 11th overall pick, was coming off the bench, is now a starter on this team, replacing essentially KCP, moving Jalen Wells down to the small forward position, which I hope we'll get to Jalen in a bit in the cons. But Cedric Coward has been amazing for his rookie season. Just the confidence he plays with, watching him get better at so many different aspects of the game. The 3-shot wasn't falling, so he defended really well and rebounded super hard. When his 3 started falling, he still worked on his mid-range. I think Cedric Coward is going to be a good 3-level scorer, but if he could be a DeMar DeRozan type where he just makes a living 12 to 15 feet from the basket. I think there's a real role for him in the NBA as a legit NBA player doing that. But he can also get to the rim and be a lob guy and be a dunk guy. And again, defends at a super high level. Like, we were all excited about Cedric Howard when we got him in the draft. Drew conservatively, and I can't speak for the masses here. I've gotten in trouble for trying to do that before on this show.
You do that.
But I think by and large, even though we traded 2 first-round picks, moved up and got him in 11, I still think none of us truly knew what kind of value he had in him, and he's exceeded a lot of expectations so far.
Oh, of course. You know, I was high on Cedric Howard, but again, it was about the upside paired with the personality, and I just would like to make a bet on that guy to reach the ceiling that his body and his frame allows you to get to. And like, yeah, that's I'm honestly, I feel like I should apologize for not mentioning him, because I think he has been absolutely awesome, and I think you insulted him a little bit by saying, you know, DeMar DeRozan. Like, that dude is just DeMar DeRozan is most notably known for shooting a 2-point shot and not shooting threes. I think that Cedric Howard can do everything, and I think his shot will be the thing that sets him apart and makes him a superstar. His 3-point shot.
I said he'd be a 3-level scorer. I just think that there's a massive place for him with that type of game.
Yes.
When you've got Ty Jerome and Cam Spencer bombing it from 3, if he could be a mid-range assassin, that's not an insult.
Well, and the thing, too, is that you saw in the London game. I mean, I'm sorry, the Berlin game. And I talked about this a ton last year, ad nauseum. The lack of John Morant on this team has a void of just run stoppers. Like, who is just going to bow their neck and say, this 10-0 run starts right now, give me the ball, no matter what the defense looks like, I can find a shot I can make. And John Morant was the only guy on this team that could do that last year. And in Berlin, you saw the Magic. It felt like a 40-0 run there in the second and third quarters there to win that game. You just didn't have that guy. But you see Cedric. You see glimpses right now. You don't see it full on, but you see glimpses where he gets the ball and he goes full court and he dunks it, or he gets to his shot and there's no passes made. It's just, it feels like he's just said, this is my possession. And that's what you need. You need that ego. You need that voice to grow in him, because we don't know if John Morant's going to be here for a long term.
Yeah, exactly. And a guy as a rookie who's averaging 14 points a game in 26.6 minutes, 6.5 rebounds, 3 assists, right at 2.9 assists, and the assist to turnover is 1.7 assists per turnover. As a rookie, that's not awful for a guy who's still figured out his way in the NBA, didn't play basketball for basically a calendar year, and is now injected in the starting lineup. Like, and we've seen him, like, he could have gone for 30 if, some rotation goofiness didn't cool him off a couple of times. He's a guy that's waiting to pop, and he's got great games under his belt. I'm not trying to discredit that. It just feels like we've got a 30, 35-point Cedric Howard game right around the corner where he just kind of takes over. T.I. finally just cuts him loose. And I just feel like that's coming sooner than later. And at that point, we will be insufferable as a fan base.
It feels like he's just being a good teammate right now. He knows what he's capable of. He said he was aura farming, after the Germany game, or was it London? I don't remember which one. Where he said, "I only fear God." When he says, when they ask him about the fear of hitting a rookie wall, and he said, "I only fear God," which is a great line. He should have never just came out and said, like, "Oh, I was just trying to be cool."
Should have never walked it back. Yeah.
But he should have just owned it, because I believe him when he says that to a certain.
Yeah.
I believe he believes that in himself. Not that he's going to be that brash and arrogant dude, but I believe that he believes that. And the fact that he's not doing that right now feels like a rookie trying not to overstep. And just wait, because after the All-Star break, you only get more and more confident to be able to, demand the basketball more.
Yeah. Exactly. As he continues to grow and develop as a player, it's just going to be wild to watch this guy. We don't know what the ceiling truly is. I mean, there have been comps to Michael Jordan, Kawhi Leonard, some wild comps out there, but we just don't know what the ceiling is because he has not been fully uncorked yet. I think, like you said, he's trying to play within a system, play within himself, not be that guy in the room, but I'm kind of over that when we need scoring with Ja Morant being so in and out and indifferent and moody and not playing. I kind of want Cedric Howard just to cut loose one night and say, look, this is what I can be. I would love T.I. to, like, absolutely take over and like just say, look, Cedric, go do your thing, man. Go get as many shots, draw up plays for Cedric, let him be the key focus. I think that would, especially if a Ja Morant trade is still truly in the works, like a couple people are still kind of putting out there, it's closely connected to the Grizzlies, that could go a long way to salving some of those wounds and being like, hey, we've got a legit score here. No, he's not the enigma and the prolific guy, superstar that Ja Morant is yet, but Cedric Coward could be a massive positive in a way to kind of help overcome some of that.
Yeah. I'm getting called out in our group chat
over
that. Saying Talladega was a 5-mile track.
I think it's 2.5 miles, if I'm not mistaken. It didn't sound right, but I was just like, okay.
2.66.
That's close.
Neezy is watching, and he's getting me. It's one of those things, and I do this a lot, and I call myself out. I started this analogy. I started this comparison. I went down the road, and then I was like, yeah, it's just like Talladega. And then I realized I have no idea what the length of Talladega is.
It's like Michael Scott said. Like, sometimes I start a sentence, and I have no idea where I'm going. I just hope to find myself along the way.
Yeah, so, my NASCAR plug is Neezy. And he got on me quick. So, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to correct myself.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some of the negatives here. So, obviously, we'll talk heavily about Ja Morant and Jaren in a few minutes because I do want to get to the comment here where we've got a question about Mikal Bridges is a good fit for the Grizzlies. I do want to talk about that at length here in a few minutes. I mean, Jalen Wells hitting the sophomore slump has been pretty bad to see. He's not he has not been super athletic this year. His shot has been super streaky where we've had a 21-point game and then we've airballed some threes. It's hard like what to make of Jalen Wells right now. But Wayno kind of sums up the cons about as good as you can. Injuries, and attitude have been our major hurdles the first half of the season. Compared with Jaren Jackson Jr.'s regression, like what are some other cons outside of the injuries? I talked about Jalen Wells. Hit on that, or what other cons are you seeing?
I mean, injuries, obviously. I mean, you started the season. Can we just say injuries, blanket statement, and just move it out of the way? Like, obviously, injuries suck. You signed Ty Jerome in the offseason. That's your free agent move. Finished second and sixth man of the year, bench scorer, half-court scorer, like a lot of problems that you thought that he could solve that we struggled with last year, and he has not played yet. Brandon Clark coming off of the PCL injury. You finally get him back. And then he has a groin injury. He's out. Scottie Pippen Jr. has foot surgery like 2 weeks before season starts. He's out probably the whole season. Zach Edey's been out for a long time. Came back for 9 or 11 games, one of the two. Been out ever since. Not
coming back until late March. It's going to be a while.
Yeah, injuries, obviously. That's bad. That's bad. Ja Morant's nagging injuries. Bad. Not ideal, With Jalen in particular, we get too over our skis with rookies, just as a society and especially as Grizzlies players. Like I talked about Gigi at length going into his sophomore year. And that all started with the experience we had with Zaire Williams after his rookie year, where he was awesome and then he fell off a cliff and became unplayable in his second year, and we always thought he may be the number 3 going forward, or 4. And we've seen it with Jalen this year, and we thought Jalen had a high floor. That's how he differentiated himself from the other two that I mentioned. He just had a high floor defensively. As a rookie, he was coming in, he was defending everybody's best player, hard nose. But in my opinion, the same thing that is happening with Jalen Wells is what happened with Zaire Williams. They are creations of Ja Morant. I mean, they are always just going to be better if Ja is there. Neither of them are shot creators. Jalen is not particularly athletic, with the ball in his hands, at least on the offensive side of the ball. And so you've got to have shots created for you. And when you don't have that Ja Morant figure there, he boosts everybody, but probably no one more than those wings, those 3-and-D wings they just, at their best, at their peak, they're standing, catching, and shooting. And you don't have anybody to drive and kick. So that's the thing with Jalen, and he's been bad. He's just been bad, no doubt about it. I think that's a lot of the reason.
That's fair. We have a team, and we've had players over the years that rely heavily on Ja Morant, our superstar, to make them better. And then when that guy's not available, you get a bunch of role players who are also out over their skis. Jock Landale being one of them. He could massively go in the pro column, and we didn't talk about him. But we were asking more of him early in playing 30 minutes. And now that he's in that 12 to 20-minute range, flourishing. He's been awesome. Yeah. And so I think, yes, because Ja's out, we've been asking guys like Santi and Jock and Jalen and KCP and these guys, Vince, to do way more than they ever were really, truly meant to be. And so now that we're starting to get some guys back from injury, Ty Jerome should be back. Hopefully we'll get a doubtful for this weekend and we'll be able to kind of get him back in this lineup soon. Could be a spark that we need, because Ty Jerome is another guy who makes people around him better because of how well he shoots the basketball and how he can be a point guard when you need him to be. And so like there's a event horizon coming up where it's like this could be a catalyst for the Grizzlies to bounce back in the back half of the season when the schedule gets a bit more favorable. We're just going to need some injury luck, which we have not had. We need guys to get back, stay healthy, and some injury luck has fallen our way, like Wayno talked about earlier. You've got Steven Adams going down with the ankle turn. J-Dub messed up his hamstring and is likely out for 4 to 6 more weeks. Jimmy Butler's knee exploded last night and got a hilarious hot mic moment afterwards where he's like, oh, my knee. Not just anything funnier. But we're going to need some of that to help us to kind of recover from what has been a kind of embattled start to the season.
Yeah, well, the thing that Ty Jerome's just going to provide you right out the gate is half-court scoring and shooting. Like, there's just no spacing on this team if you're not moving in transition. And so if you're not causing missed shots and being able to get out in transition and run, there's no shots to be had because you've got one and a half players on your team on the court at any moment that is capable of making an open three. Because Jalen's not. Jaren's okay. And Jock Landale and Cam Spencer are our two best. Like, I mean, it's just it's bleak. It's bleak. So
and that's no shade to Jock and Cam either way. It's just that's not
it's
who
a
you're going to draw
massive
a
compliment. We just need more. You know.
But Ty Jerome gives you that element that's also going to make Jaren better.
Oh, so he has worn a jersey before, or is this?
He has. This isn't a preseason.
Okay.
He has in the pre. He did not have his warm ups for the team picture though. Left him at the hotel room, which I find objectively hilarious as well.
He always has that one brown sweater that he wears all the time.
He loves his PJs, man. And
he's
big
a
old baggy.
Man. I think
he wears those like 1990s skaters Jinko jeans that are like 3 feet wide at the bottom, but they're pajama pants. But
yeah, you could do that if you're tall. You can't do that if you're built like me.
Yeah. I would love to see Ty Jerome come back and be effective in the half-court offense, like you said, because he's the guy that's going to create floor spacing for Jaren and Edie when Edie's back in the post, or Jock or Cedric at the rim, or Josh, should he still be on this team, driving to the rim. Like Ty Jerome, like I think the Grizzlies, we fans obviously, but I think T.I. and the coaching staff are itchy to get a guy like him back just because there's so much more you can do in this offense with a lethal shooting threat like that. We saw it firsthand where he put up like 28 in one quarter against us. It felt like in Cleveland, where he just hit us with a barrage of threes to the point that we were like, I want that guy.
The Cavalanche. Last year's Cavalanche.
He was the Cavalanche.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's just a good basketball player. You need more of those. If you're wanting to be a Grizzlies fan, you just want more good basketball players. And
this is funny. Shout out real quick. Like watching when they were doing some of the drawing stuff on the overseas games, it was absolutely hilarious.
So the basketball art where he just wrote peace, like he did it with his wrong hand on purpose.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Objectively hilarious. Funny.
Let's do Jaren. I'll start because I think you're going to have more to say about Jaren, and I think you're going to be more critical than me. I think Jaren can go in both of these categories. He had a really tough start to the season. Am I misremembering? Am I getting my seasons mixed up? Was he out during training camp, or am I misremembering? So
he had turf toe and he had the surgery,
that's right.
And he was supposed to miss like the first couple of weeks of the season and did not miss a regular season game.
So he had no participation except for mental reps in fall camp, whatever they call that, spring training,
training camp,
training camp, whatever. He had only mental reps And so I chalked that up a lot. His start of the season troubles to that, coming back from injury. And since then, he's been really good. Listen, are there holes that we can poke in it? Yes. But the holes we're poking in Jaren Jackson Jr. are because we watch every single minute of every single game. And he's not perfect, nor is anybody. He has lapses. He takes quarters off. He doesn't ask for the ball enough. All in all, 41 games into it, I would say 21 and a half games, really bad. 21 and a half games, really awesome, what you want. And thankfully, the 21 and a half that we want out of Jaren are the most recent 20 and a half games. So I don't have a lot negative to say about Jaren because he fixed it in whole.
Did you forget who you're talking to here? I'm the biggest puff piece Jaren Jackson Jr. has in this network. I love Jaren's game, and I think he's like so. But I also can look at it objectively and say that it was a really rough start to the season. The injury thing is probably a thing. You're getting over that foot injury. I know turf toe is hard because you lose some push off and explosiveness because you really use your big toe to push off and generate force as kind of the last little oomph for a jump shot, a dunk, go block a shot, or run. And so I think that had a lot to do with it. But Jaren's been awesome as of late. He's been able to be kind of a table setter. He still makes some boneheaded fouls and dumb decisions and frustration fouls, but we're 8 years in, and that's clearly not going to change. And so we're not going to beat that dead horse anymore. Is he a number one option? No. He's a great Robin, and we do need a Batman for this team, and that's John Morant when he freaking plays. But I think Jaren's all in all had a fine season. Is it as good as last year? No. He was on a generational run in the early parts of 2026, playing his way to number 8 in the MVP ladder and was a first-team All-NBA player and still missed third team by 1 vote after a bad ankle sprain that he rushed to get back from and still was not 100%. I'm not joining the other side of the fan base that's all out on Jaren because he doesn't rebound. It's not who he is. That's ready to ship him off for Kuminga or as a salary dump or any of this stuff. Like, I'm not there. There are players that I would consider a trade for Jaren Jackson Jr. for. We'll talk about that a bit more here in a minute, but it's a very, very, very short list. And I think Jaren is an important piece of our retooling going forward, especially if you can get some good backcourt play around him. And I think Ty Jerome helps with that because it creates more space for Jaren, who is season over season. This year he's a little regressed, but over the last couple of seasons has been the number 1 ISO player in the league, like scoring on isolation. It's like he's been incredible in isolation in the post. And so I don't think we've seen the full evolution of Jaren Jackson Jr. this year. With Ty Jerome coming back, I think that'll help. I think Jaren's had an up and down season, but like you said, in a league that's very much, what have you done for me lately? Lately's been pretty good.
Yeah. I'm in agreement. All right, let's do Ja.
Yeah.
So, listen, Ja's a whole DVD and a half in the documentary of the 25-26 Grizzlies. It's been an absolute roller coaster. It's been all negative. I'm just, the positives have been on, I would say, 3 occasions that I can remember. And when you played 41 games, that's not anything that we're just, that's not a chapter. That's something, if you're just fast forwarding, you click it, you skip over it in one click of the button. It's non-existent. The London game was peak of powers John Morant, but the story is the drama. It's the off-court stuff. It's been really, really sad to see, if I'm being honest with you. And I don't know what happens here. There's reports that come out that despite the London performance, you thought, I have admitted to riding the Ja train. Like, I'm just not going to be able to put my feet in stone on any side on this. Right now, I'm just going to ride the wave. That despite the London performance where he went for, 28 and 15 or something like that, got a lot of the fan base back on his side saying, like, you can't trade him now. He's shown that he's amazing. Seems there's people really tied in, reporters, Chris Harrington and DeMichael Cole both, are saying that they're still thinking the odds-on, the most likeliest outcome is that John Morant gets traded. So there's obviously not a lot of mended feelings in the front office about John Morant.
And I don't think there should be, because one game does not undo him pouting last year in protest of Taylor, pouting this year because he got called out by the new coach, sits on the sideline and sulks with his hood up. I was at the game against the Nets where it came down to the final minute and we won. And he's literally sitting on the bench, moving Omax out of the way so he can see instead of standing up with everybody else in the arena. It was gross to see. And so I wouldn't blame Zach Kleiman if after that he's still like, I'm going to take calls because I'm done with the headache and drama that comes with Ja Morant, who doesn't play. For me, I was not a part of that sect of the fan base that you were talking about, that he shook his hips on Saturday in practice and then had a normal 24-13 Ja Morant type game on Sunday. I was not all the way back in. I've been consistent before the game, on the post-game outs, our show yesterday and today. Like, if anything, I'm more frustrated because that's what's sitting over on the bench, choosing to sit out, choosing not to play when he is playing, instead of going out and being that electric. Because if Ja Morant had done 24-13 like that consistently throughout the year, Drew, we're obviously in a much different position. Fair. We are obviously building a better team. I think Cedric Coward would be better. Jalen would obviously be better. Like, this team would be better all the way around.
Yep.
But he chooses not to. That's why I'm still frustrated. And I'm not saying we need to get rid of Ja Morant and just trade him for peanuts. We've got him under contract for 2 more years. Like, you can wait for a good offer and for him to play and bring his value back up. I mean, I think Sunday could say, hey, look, this is what you get with Ja Morant if you trade for him. But I hope that what Ja Morant is seeing is that the trade market is really, really light for him right now. None of these teams that are wanting to trade for him are going to be teams that are going to extend him either. And so for that to be like,
that could be a perk.
I hope that's a wake-up call that says, look, man, the Grizzlies are better with you. You're better in Memphis. We're the only franchise that's going to put up with your shenanigans, and we're the only one that are going to be willing to extend you at the end of this.
Yeah. A team getting traded to a team that isn't going to re-sign him isn't the worst case scenario for Ja Morant either, because then you get to pick.
That's fair.
So listen, I waffle on this. The only way I have to stay consistent on this is to view Ja as like the long-term best case scenario or the trade asset. Like, I do believe in the upside of Ja still. I think Ja's going to be amazing. He has every opportunity to be amazing. I'll put it to you that way. And I'm not willing to trade him for pennies on the dollar, while also saying, like, this is just incredibly frustrating. It is.
This is a great call.
Incredibly.
By Marcus Driscoll here. Wayno's talked about Jalen Rose did the same thing. Vince did the same thing. Like, this is like Ja Morant, wherever he gets traded to, whether it be Sacramento, the Shanghai Tigers, or wherever, he will land on his feet and be awesome. Like, this is not a talent thing. It's an availability and an attitude thing. And a player's ability, a best ability is availability, which Ja Morant has not had due to unlucky injuries. And a lot of it is very unlucky.
Right.
You know,
Koloko
taking
a major
him out
knee
of air.
injury. You know?
Right. Dort taking him out, Jordan Poole. Like, there's been so many people have injured him. Tice from New Orleans. But then there's also the Ja Morant who chooses not to play and sulk and be a malcontent. Yep. And I'm just tired 6 years in of watching a game for the first 5 minutes that he plays and go, all right, are we getting good Ja? Are we getting bad Ja? Which one are we getting tonight? When most guys go out and you're like, hey, I know what I'm getting with this guy night and night. Cedric Coward, I'm getting effort every night.
Yep. I'm 100% with you. I see both sides. I don't know what I can live if I could just live with the fact that Ja Morant is awesome anywhere else without getting an absolute king's ransom. Put it to you this way. If Desmond Bane is an Eastern Conference All-Star starter, it would not hurt my feelings, because what we got for Desmond Bane was 4 first-round picks, a swap, KCP, and we turned that into Cedric Coward, who we love. There's no situation where I will rue the day that we traded Desmond Bane because of what we got back. You cannot make that case now for Ja, and that puts me in a very petty mindset of saying you can sit there and be mad because I'm not trading you for nobody. I'm not going to let you go to New York or Miami or whatever and be awesome and have nothing in return. It brings me in a very petty. Yeah,
Terry Rozier and a block of cheese. Like, no.
Yeah, that's the level of petty I'm at right now, though, because I'm not just it. It's not worth it just to get him out of the locker room for me. I've got to have something in return.
Ja put on a ton of makeup on Saturday or on Sunday and put a ton of lipstick on a pig. Well, he's washed his face. He's gone back to what he like. Not saying that he's back sulking again, but we're he doesn't have the pretty dress and makeup on anymore, and we're realizing that was one game. But where's that been all season? Why is he still being a malcontent here?
Everybody I'm sure already has the Grizz PR notifications on. If you don't do it, you've got to have a pretty brave soul about you. Like, you've got to be tough mentally to turn on the Grizz PR notifications. But today's going to be a big day for Grizz PR notifications. One, we talked about Ty Jerome. We're monitoring that, see if he pops up on the injury report as probable or questionable or doubtful. That'd be greatly encouraging. I don't think it's a given that John Morant is going to be off of the injury report for tomorrow's game against Atlanta.
If it's anything other than not on the injury report, I think a lot of the fan base is going to groan and be very upset. If he's on it, even just as a probable, as he should. So a trade came out I do want to talk about here. It was reported like overnight this morning that the New York Knicks are fielding trade calls for one Karl Anthony Towns. And I know you're talking about Mikal Bridges here. I got this up on purpose. Drew, the teams being connected are the Orlando Magic, I believe it was Golden State, and the Memphis Grizzlies as teams who have gauged interest in Karl Anthony Towns. To me, that feels like I don't think we're going to trade Ja to New York for Cat because you've got Jalen Brunson there already, and those two guys will be an absolute black hole defensively. I don't think they would pair well together. So it feels like Jaren is kind of who would be the target there. Is Cat somebody you would want? Is that somebody you would pursue? And does Cat make the short list of players you would trade Jaren for?
Yeah, so just clean up a little bit. Says they are considering trading Karl Anthony Towns, have discussed potential deals with the Magic, Hornets, and Grizzlies.
Hornets,
that's per
Hornets.
Steve Popper, real GM. So, listen, I do not want Karl Anthony Towns on a team that doesn't have John Morant. Like that signals building around Cat, that maybe even sound. I don't know. I want no part of that. I want no part of Jaren Jackson Jr. being traded for Karl Anthony Towns. Pass. Holy pass. Nope. Not interested. Would consider taking this show to 2 days a week if I had to talk about Cat 5 days a week. Like, no. I want no part of it. The only way I would consider it is if New York is just so desperate that they want to get off of him and you want to try the rest of the season out with Ja, Cat, and Jaren. Then I'm interested because Cat is shown to be really good second banana. He cannot be first banana. He cannot be your soloist. He is the rhythm guitar player in a really good band. You're not going to talk about him. Nobody's going to want a picture and an autograph and take this from the bass player, okay? You're only going to be talking about the drummer, the lead guitarist, and the singer, okay? He's the acoustic player. He can provide really good stuff, but you can't count on him, and he's not the show. And so I don't want to trade for him and him being a scenario in Memphis where we're like, all right, Cat's our guy. Pass.
What's funny is the people who are calling for us, Chris Ingram on this network, I'm calling him out. Several that are calling for Jaren to be traded. Chris put out a trade that was like Jaren and BC for Cat earlier today, are the same ones who are griping about Jaren not rebounding and having defensive lapse. Guess what, buddy? That's who Karl Anthony Towns is. He is like super Jaren in that instance. Like, he can play defense here and there, but he has major defensive lapse. He doesn't rebound, and he's a liability in space. So you're going to take the problems that you have with Jaren, trade for a player who has the exact same problems, and expect a different result? That sounds like the definition of insanity to me. I think Cat, like you said, that's a good point. If we could get Cat on the cheap, if they're just so ready to be done that they would make the deal for some salary dump and say we move BC, give him Santi because he's got a decent deal and might fit in New York, and dump some guys in a couple of picks. I don't hate running it with Cat at the 5 for the rest of the season while we let Edey recover and get back. But I'm not moving a pivotal piece like Jaren Jackson Jr. for Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, so one thing you're off on with Karl Anthony Towns is he averages in all seasons except for 2, he's averaged 10 rebounds a game. He is
that's fair.
He is a really good rebounder.
He rebounds a little bit better.
And if that's the argument, then I mean that's just the guys that are just bothered by Jared's rebounding numbers. The problem is just like there's not that much of a difference to me, and we've seen that Karl Anthony Towns is not like built for it. You know, you've seen that. So he's not as bad as James Harden, but in the same category. And in this scenario that Chris Ingram lays out, this is news for me. I didn't see this. I hadn't been on my phone this morning, but that is Cat and Ja. And we don't even know if Ja's going to be here. And then you're just got Cat, like, pass. They're just, I'm not interested in it. He is somebody that I would be cool with getting run with the Grizzlies because he's got an elite skill set. He is a really good rebounder, but he is an elite 7-foot shooter. Arguably the best 7-foot shooter in the history of basketball. And you could really work with that. But again, I'm not willing to work with that and see what it looks like if Ja Morant is not on this team.
I still think Dirk Nowitzki is the greatest 7-foot shooter of all time, but Cat is in a second tier, kind of close behind that, I would say.
Well, I mean, a 3-point shooter. Dirk didn't take he's the greatest shot creator as a 7-footer. I'll give you that.
Okay. I mean, maybe the 3-pointer, but I think if I'm the Memphis Grizzlies, I parlay this conversation into a Mikal Bridges conversation. We coveted him a few years ago. It hasn't worked out like Bandits this year. He's averaging like some career lows and some different stuff. You might be able to get Mikal Bridges on the cheap if they're looking to blow it up and maybe move some pieces and try something a little different, at least make some changes. If Mikal Bridges became available, I would 1,000% make an offer for Mikal Bridges, including draft capital, because I think a core Ja, said, Mikal, Jared, Edey, like that's a tough team. And I recognize a guy like Mikal Bridges, you're going to have to at least enter the conversation with the Ja Morant, Jaren, Edey type to make that work. But if you could get him cheap and pry him away, and I'm not trying to sound like some of those Heat fans again that are making either Laker fans that are making just like John Conchar for Mikal Bridges type trades. But if there's a world where you can move some young pieces and draft capital and go get a guy like Mikal Bridges, I've always thought he would fit super well in Memphis. And I think in this system, he would fit even better.
Yeah, this is what Marcus Driscoll says about Bridges. He says he's past his prime, and he is going to cost a pretty penny. I would invite everybody, if you're watching this right now and you're not in YouTube, you see the conversation is a lot of times steered by you guys. So come hang out with us in the chat.
Let us know. Give us your thoughts on this. Do you think Mikal is washed like Marcus says? Let us know.
I don't think Mikal Bridges is washed. I do think he's going to be too much, and unless it's a Ja Morant trade package, then I don't know if that's what you're going to do. Like you're talking probably 2 to 3 first-round picks and a young player or something like that. And I just don't even know that the Mikal Bridges is New York's problem. You know, New York, I don't know. They've lost 9 of 11 games. Like they're struggling right now.
I would venture like Cat's been more of a problem as of late than Mikal Bridges, just with his just watching his body language and post-game interviews and things that are being said. I think he's been more of a malcontent. But my favorite thing about Mikal Bridges, as shout out, I haven't seen you in the comments before. I'm not even going to try and pronounce what your username is. If you tell us your first name, we'll call it out here on air. But
give us the name.
His availability is his best ability, and my God, that's what we need in Memphis.
That is true. That is true, and it's a shame that that's what we're talking about. Like, we'll give 4 first-round picks just for a guy that plays basketball.
Who plays basketball?
I don't know what New York's going to do here. Obviously, Cat is the one you would try to move first. I would rather have OG Anunoby, I think, than any of them. But again,
I do a lot of things for OG. I do a lot of things for OG and the Grizz.
This is a conversation we've been having for half a decade now with Mikal
Shout out
and OG.
Cohen. We got a name. Shout out Cohen. I'm assuming you're from Australia as well because you are talking about the NBL down there and some Australia teams. So appreciate our fans friends all around the globe for sure.
Wayno's saying Mike Brown is the issue, and I did. Stop me if I'm wrong, Wayno, but I didn't think we blamed coaches in this neck of the woods.
Because we can have a whole conversation about one Tomas Isolo and his rotation.
It was so funny. I watched a little bit of Anthony Sain's show yesterday, and I even sent it in the group chat where Anthony Sain was like, "We're not talking about rotations when Ja Morant's playing. We're not talking about role players. We're not talking about coaching. We're not talking about if Ja Morant's playing." And I just thought to myself, like, dang it, is it last year and is this my show? Because I've said for so long, Ja Morant is the problem. Morant is the problem.
Is this Steven Adams' burner account? Cohen, are you Steven Adams? Are you? Because he's
don't call him Australian. He is a New Zealand.
New Zealand. That's what I'm saying. He's Kiwi, the big Kiwi.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it starts and stops with Memphis Grizzlies with Ja Morant. Like you're absolutely right. Coaches don't matter in the NBA until they do. Taylor Jenkins last year with his goofy rotations and letting Noah LaRoche run that system. This year, Tomas stubbornly sticking to his rotations, and some late game adjustments are kind of tough to see. But for us, it's Ja Morant, man.
Yeah, and that's what I said last year. Like, yeah, Taylor Jenkins did a lot of stuff that I would not have advised for, but everything forever and ever can be masked by an all-NBA player playing at an all-NBA level. Like,
Absolutely.
It's just that simple.
Marcus, Drew and I are going to push back here because we've been big about we're not giving passes for the injury card anymore because that's what the Memphis Grizzlies are. That's the nature of the beast of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
To a degree. But like at some point, like injuries just are what they are. You got to coach.
And I tend to split hairs a little bit with rotations when it comes to minutes because I do believe that's a front office thing. I do believe that is implemented by the front office. And if I've criticized T.I. for anything this year, it's been, one, I didn't think that the system was tailored to Ja, although I think Ja could excel in it if he chose to, but it wasn't tailored to Ja. And when it matters, just refuse to put your best players on the bench. Like, you're on the court. Like, you can't say no. Like, yes, it may cost you your job and you're putting your neck on the line, but you are going to lose if you don't. So, and then you're going to get fired, and it's just around and around we go.
Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle here, and all of it can be the spinning chaos carousel could be stopped if Ja Morant will get his head out of his behind and start playing basketball. And
this has become a $3 sports show because Wayno, and he's our best friend. We are going to feature Wayno. Yes, Tomas has done a good job with injury. Maximizes the bench and the role guys, getting stuff out of players you wouldn't expect. So did Taylor Jenkins. Like it's just kind of the same thing, and it starts and stops with Ja. And I'm not giving a lot of the blame to T.I., and I'm also not giving a lot of the credit to T.I. when Ja plays. That's just kind of where I think coaches sit in the NBA. It's a superstar league.
Big Matt, this is what I've been yelling for the last 3 seasons. It's just
everybody yells this.
Quit being goofy. Like, go play our best on best. Like, I understand we're trying to outsmart everybody in the room, but when your top minute playing guys are in the 140 and 150 minute getters in the NBA, you're not playing best on best. And this is not just a TI system problem. This was a Taylor Jenkins problem over the last couple of seasons as well.
It's a Zach Kleiman philosophy.
So there's a common denominator here, and that is one Mr. Zach Kleiman in the front office.
They're trying to be last year's Indiana Pacers, and you just can't be that if you're going to be this injured. So maybe it works, but again, you're going to have to get Ja Morant to play for it to work at a high level.
Because I know it's kind of hard to say that now, but Indiana had a ton of injury luck last year until they didn't.
Yeah, until they popped in Achilles in Game 7, in a heartbreaking fashion.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, we appreciate the comments. This was a great, great show with comments popping off. We were going to transition to college football here now, but I do have a meeting at 12:30 that I have got to get to, so we're going to have to call it a little early. We'll talk college football tomorrow on the show. We'll recap the national championship game a little bit, talk about some early FanDuel lines for college football national champs next year, as well as put kind of a bow on both of our favorite teams' seasons after we get you ready for the Memphis Grizzlies game tomorrow night. But I did want to talk real quick.
Rusty's bow, the present that Mississippi State that he's putting a bow on, is just wrapped in a garbage sack. It's a
Walmart sack.
Bow in a garbage sack.
That's it. It's a Tide Walmart sack. But over on FanDuel, for some of the games tonight, you can get a same-game parlay for a point, rebound, and assist total. One of the popular ones going on FanDuel right now on their homepage is for the Spurs and Rockets, one of the highlight games for tonight in the Western Conference. You can get this same game point, rebound, and assist parlay for plus 25-12 on the odds, which are good odds if you think this will hit. So this means that Kevin Durant will go over 35.5 total for points, rebounds, and assists. Alfred Şengün, over 35.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Amen, 29.5. Wemby, 34.5. And De'Aaron Fox, 26.5. Again, total points, rebounds, and assists.
Whew. That's a pretty big numbers. I mean, Ahmed Thompson to go over 29.5, you got to think that's a got to be a triple double. I mean,
Yeah, because that's like for him with his style of
he
game,
score 20 very often.
that's going to be like 12 points, like 15 rebounds, 18 rebounds, and then a handful of assists. Like he's not a major scorer. And like Wemby and KD and Şengün feel like they can do that because Şengün's good for about 20 and 12, and then or 20 and 15. Then you just need a couple of assists there. Wemby, same thing, 30 and 10 feels right for him. KD can get you
5 blocks.
Yeah. I mean, they can get there. But the Amen Thompson numbers are the one that made me nervous as well.
So, but hey, that you don't get $2,500 when betting 100 if it's not a little risky,
It's a little risky.
So if you subscribe to the mindset that I subscribe to, it's that I'm not trying to spend 10 and make 12. I'm trying to spend 10 and win $1 million. So
that's it,
this
man.
is
Scared
one
money
of those.
don't make money. And if you want to make money, head on over to FanDuel, the official odds provider of Bluff City Media. But that's going to do it for your Tuesday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show. I am Rusty Buckets. This is Drew Gann. We're here live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Central on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel, full of tomfoolery, buffoonery, and a little bit of sports take that is sometimes right. But we appreciate the comment section. Had some new faces here today, some new names. We appreciate everybody that was here in the comments. Thank y'all for hanging out. Cohen, Marcus, Big Matt, Wayno, King Meeks, everybody that was here. We appreciate y'all. Give us the thumbs up on the way out the door. If you made it this far, you might as well give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Turn those notifications on. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. In the meantime, y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with a $2 Sports Show, you always get what you pay for. Have a happy Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.